Good afternoon, everyone. It's Sean J. Harris with Generational Wealth Academy, and I have the distinct and privilege to be with Mr. Micheal V. Roberts. He has multiple companies, corporations, we have hotels, technology companies, and I just want to take a moment, if I could, sir, and just ask you a few questions. When it comes to Black economics and having a financial balance, what would you recommend for people that look like us to be able to keep our money in our own communities, and why that's important as entrepreneurs and business owners?
Well, I think one of the first things we have to do is understand the importance of saving some money.
Yes.
Because in business or in personal life, what can happen is a rainy day, challenges can take place, and too often we don't have a little bit of a backup financially, and then when we do that, we get into a spiral going down. So one of the early components of being in business or living in general is to make sure that you have enough money set aside to be able to support your life and your business. And that comes with financial literacy.
Absolutely.
And that financial literacy looks at, well, exactly what are the things I need to do in order to balance my life, to make sure that I actually own what I'm supposed to own and make my priorities. For example, I always said there's something wrong with someone who has a Land Rover but a landlord.
Wow.
You see, priorities are important, and we have to make sure that people recognize that, financially, that is a priority, and we have to protect ourselves and our family.
Sounds good. In a couple of my books I've written, I have a book called Money Moves, Wealthy Rules, and also 15 Ideas that the Wealthy Teach Their Children that the Poor Do Not. And in that book, we always talk about why it's so important to have generational wealth. What would be your insights of generational wealth, what it means to you, and why you feel that that's important moving forward with subsequent generations?
Well, first of all, in order for a generation to be sustainable, they need to be educated, properly educated. For example, all four of my kids went to law school. Okay. And although I worked hard and did the things I did, I made sure that they understood the value of higher education. Now, that, of course, doesn't mean you have to have higher academic education, but you need a form of education.
Got it.
And how to balance your income, how to use your money properly, and how not to get yourself upside down, if you will, as a result of certain circumstances that may occur in your life. And that's what I push hard to make sure that the generations to come understand, one, how difficult it may have been to get to where they are, and yet to push them out. I mean, I don't believe people should leave children debt-free. I think, you should leave a little debt if it's a house, or a little debt on your business, which drives them in the direction of needing to feel like, oh, I've got to do something myself. I just can't take it for granted.
Exactly. And one last question, sir.
Yes.
When it pertains, like myself, I was a C student in school. What would you recommend to that person who has so much ambition to be an entrepreneur, but may not be the best at school or may not want to go on to college? What would you recommend to them as far as...
First of all, I got my share of C's also.
Okay.
But the point is, I always have a difficulty in say the tracking systems, or making one exam set a course for your entire life. In my newest book, Action Has No Season 2.2, I write about this concept that if you're in the 8th grade and you're about to go to high school, and you're placed on a tracking system of track 1A, track 2, or track 3, all based on one test. And so when you're going into high school, if you're a track 3, but really you're the brain of track 1, sometimes you can feel that perhaps you're in a down spiral position. So you might not believe in yourself. So one test shouldn't do it. So I think people have to recognize that the whole testing system is something we have to balance against, so that people feel comfortable and confident that they can achieve regardless of what, academic completion. Now, let's look at Bill Gates. Did he finish college? No. Did Zuckerberg finish college? No. Are we talking about a couple of billionaires?
Yes.
So if we want to set an example, let's look at those examples as it relates to academic completion. But academic completion is something that we have to still gear our kids and ourselves toward, because it gives you a perspective from a liberal arts perspective, how to think analytically, how to process, and that's what higher education does for you.
Got it. Sounds good. Well, thank you so very much.
Yes,
And
sir.
Mr. Roberts, if you have not followed him or you don't know much about him, look him up. It's Micheal V. Roberts. And one more little in closing, I have a 9-year-old and a 10-year-old. They're both entrepreneurs as well as authors. My daughter's Kennedy. My son is Caden. Could you just give them a quick bit of advice for them?
Katie, can you listen to your father? He's a wise man, he's a smart man, and he knows how to selectively place certain environments in front of you, environments that can change your life and enhance your life. So listen carefully to your parents, because they're the ones that love you, not somebody out here in the streets, not somebody at school. They may like you, you may be friendly, but who's going to look out for you? Who has your back? It's your dad. So make sure that you give him the love and the respect that he deserves. We love you too. Take care, kids.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts.
Okay.